In this video, I'm gonna show you how I made the entire Villa Savoye from scratch inside of Blender. The final result is that. So, before we start, I need to warn you that this video is not a tutorial. This video is more like an overview of the entire project. But if you want to know how to do this project step by step, I invite you to click in the secret link on the description below, where I will talk more about that. Anyway, last thing, I invite you to subscribe in this YouTube channel and click the notification bell, so every time I post a new video about how to use Blender for architectural visualization, you will be warned, okay? Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. The first step in any kind of artwork is to gather reference images from the internet or from anywhere you want. You can take pictures if you want, but what I did was to find as much reference images as I could to make my pure ref canvas filled with information about the project. So this is the final result of my reference images. And after that, I can open Blender and start work. Also, I found the 2D drawings of this project inside on the internet, and I placed it on Blender in a way that I can use each part of these 2D drawings as snap points, so I don't need to care too much about measurements during the modeling process. This is not the only way to work inside of Blender. This is just the solution that I found to make things easier to me in this case. Other projects may have different approaches. After that, I did the blocking process, and in this blocking process what I did was to model just the volumes of the house to see how it looks in the end. Also, I started to model the top part of the house because this is an important part to see how the house will feel and will look in the end. And after that, I take care of the exterior walls for each floor, make sure that my volumes are good enough to start the modeling process. So I modeled the exterior walls, I modeled the floor, the ceilings, and after that it's time to model the interiors. What's not that hard to do, just take a bit of time. And after I model every single wall in the house, it's time to make the openings on the house. I always work from the bigger to the smaller details in the scene. This makes sure that I won't take care of small details in a wrong moment. To do the openings, it's easier to just use loop cuts in most of the parts of the house, but in the ground level it's not that easy to do things with loop cuts. So to do that I use Boolean operations, just make sure that I don't need to model things by myself, and the final result was that. Finally, I did the window frames using the Archviz add-on. This add-on allowed me to set individual windows to show what window is fixed and what window is a movable window. So this gives me a lot of realism in the final of the project. In the back of the house, I don't care too much about the window frames. I just add a wireframe modifier in a plane with some loop cuts to make the thing look as a window, because anyway we won't see this in any shape or form in the final result. To do the entries, I just model that based on the 2D drawings of my scene. Also, I always take a look in my reference image to make sure that I'm going in the right direction. And to do that part in the ground level where the windows are rounded, I just use an array modifier with a curve modifier. After that, I went to the part that you want to see in this video, the rendering part. To do the grass, what I did was to use the add-on Scatter. This is an add-on that I really like because it comes with a huge library of grass presets, and I use one of those presets to populate my scene with grass. The thing that I really love about this add-on is the fact that it comes with a mask system. So I placed a camera culling mask that allows me to place grass only where the camera is placed on, optimizing my 3D model. I also use a distancing culling mask that allows me to have more grass closer to the camera and less grass far away to the camera. This also optimizes my model, and the final result is just perfect. We don't perceive that there is less grass behind the house. So to add the big vegetations, the trees, the shrubs and the bushes, I use the add-on Botanique. I really like this add-on. I'm not a fan of the final quality of the trees. I really think that those trees should be a little bit better. The leaves are a bit too uniform for me. but the final result is good enough for most of my projects. For that reason, I still using this library even today. But I know sometimes I need to buy separate assets from a specific scene. And I just place the trees where it's really necessary because I don't want to make my scene too heavy. Finally, for the lighting, I just use a HDRI to make the lighting of the scene good enough because the sky texture was good, but I wasn't feeling that it was really good as I want to be. And in the end, I thought that the result was nice, but weird, was too empty. So to make the scene looks a bit more alive, what I did was place some people around the house. In the end, place this boy in the front of the house with a bicycle close to him, make the house look more cozy, more like a family house and less like a museum of a big architecture of the past. This made me feel that this project is more real and more human than a museum or something like that. I know this boy is not realistic enough for this distance of the camera, but I really like the mood he brings to the scene. So I keep it there. I mean it because the 3D model is not a real boy. After some test renderings, the final result is this. So, what do you think about this project? Did you like it? Did you want to tell me more about how can I improve it? And so, if you want to have access to the step-by-step process of this project, the link is in the description below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in our next video. Bye.